Hello everyone, Storm11 here. Today we'll be talking about a blizzard that will be going on across portions of north central Montana here, and there could be quite a bit of mountain snow across pretty much almost everybody in the western Rockies as well in the mountains. Let's go ahead and get started with the National Weather Service, the current hazards outlook here. And as you can see here, it's a decent mess across portions of the west here. It's going to be hard to tell between red flag warnings and winter storm warnings, but let me show you guys which is which for right now. So these hot pink covers right here across these counties, those are actually red flag warnings. That's the same way going on across southern Nevada, western Utah, even to get into portions of California. However, when you can kind of get into these pink covers here across the Sierra Mountains in California, you can see you got another region right in here. Those are your winter storm warnings. In these purple colors here, those are winter weather advisories. These dark blue colors here, those are actually winter storm watches there as well. And if we go to northern Montana here, north central Montana, areas in the orange, those are blizzard warnings as well. So, and there could be quite a bit of snow across some of these regions as well, and that's what we're going to be taking a look at too. Let's first start off with the blizzard potential across portions of Montana. We're going to start off with sustained winds, and typically to be considered as a blizzard, you need sustained winds at least 35 miles per hour over a pretty good period of time. And as you can see here, kind of getting into Saturday here, this is the high risk NAM. The snow really starts to get in here really Saturday night into Sunday morning. If we go back to sustained winds, you can see here some areas are starting to see sustained winds up to 35 miles an hour. If we look to wind gusts, you can see here pretty decent winds out there, up to 50 miles per hour. When you can getting into some of those higher elevations, wind gusts up to 70 miles an hour into a few areas in those mountain regions. But kind of going back to sustained winds, it kind of continues throughout pretty much the day on Sunday, although that snow will slowly, well, actually will stick around over time as well. Your actual low pressure system is right over here. If we turn on the pressure here, which I don't think it's going to load in here, but your low pressure system at this point here is over the Canadian border across North Dakota, kind of that triple point here as well. There's your pressure. You can see here where your low pressure system there is as well. So that is considered as a blizzard at that point there. And let's kind of look into some other models here as well. Let's actually first take a look to the snowfall forecast over the next 3 days. Pretty widespread, right? You got some areas picking up to 2 feet of snow, but generally most areas are showing anywhere from a foot to maybe 18 inches of snow. Generally. And this is pretty widespread. So in my standards, this is considered as a major winter storm, but we're going to call this a blizzard for right now, since it does have the parameters of this thing being into a blizzard across portions of Montana. Look into some other regions. You can see here in some of these mountain regions, I mean, some of those lower elevations may not get much of anything, but when you get to some of the higher elevations, like into some of the mountains here, you can see snowfall mounts up to a foot of snow, maybe a little bit better across some of these regions here. But some of those lower elevations, not that much. You can see here, it's pretty much all over the place across some of these regions here. And this is why I don't really do forecasts for mountain snow, because stuff like this, it's pretty hard to forecast and make a map for stuff like this here, so it's kind of easier to look into a model instead of trying to make a forecast here as well. But you generally kind of get the idea here. There could also be, I mean, a lot of snow across portions of Colorado there, some of those higher elevations. And it's looking to be where some of the most of the snow could be. You can see it's showing up to nearly 40 inches of snow. And that's a lot of snow there when you think about it. Let's look into the European model. You can see here, even up to 30, probably closer to 25 to maybe 30 inches of snow. But look at some of these other higher elevations. Generally, um, really 5 to maybe 10 inches of snow. Some areas could see up to a foot. When we can kind of get into across Montana, it's actually a widespread foot to about 18 inches, maybe closer to 20 inches in a few areas. So it's a pretty widespread event here for snow as well. If we kind of continue on for the next 5 days here, a new system will develop here from Colorado, eventually moving to the northeast here across the upper Midwest. And this will be a different system here to keep in mind of. You can see here general snowfall totals probably maybe as high as 5 inches in a few areas. Tyrus NAM does not go that far out, but we'll kind of talk about that a little bit later down the road of the video. So let's take a look at some other models. Let's take a look at the icon model here. You can see here this is 7 o'clock uh, November the 7th, tomorrow. You can see here there is a lot of Mount snow across the western Rockies. Pretty much generally all the Rockies are dealing with some mountain snow. And heavy snow going on across portions of Montana and Idaho. You can see here some of that snow does linger here. And like I said, a new low pressure system will form somewhere across the central and southern plains and eventually be moving up to the northeast. And you can see here there could be a band of some heavy snow. There could be potentially be some ice as well, which we'll look to GFS in just a moment. You can see some mountain snow does linger across the Rockies as well. Snowfall accumulations. You can see across Montana, even for some of those higher elevations, some areas could see up to 20 inches of snow. Some of those mountains across southwestern Colorado could even see better than 2 feet of snow across some of those regions. But generally, most of the Rockies, especially in those higher elevations, could see anywhere from probably 6 to maybe a foot of snow. Some areas could see a little bit better as well. It's kind of hard to predict for some areas for mountain snow, but some of the lower elevations you may not be able to see much of anything. First of all, it could be a little bit too warm. Also, the ground will also be too warm as well. So just to keep in mind of that. So take a look at the Canadian model. Really, generally, the models do agree with the setup here. We're just kind of looking to the snowfall mounts here. And I forgot to show you guys about the secondary system here. You can see here snowfall mounts anywhere from north central Iowa into eastern Minnesota. Western Wisconsin could see snowfall mounts really generally 3 to maybe 6 inches of snow. So it's a decent swath of snow there. If we look into the Canadian model, it's slightly different with that. See, it's kind of having kind of more left to right movement or, west to east movement, then kind of in a diagonal fashion here from southwest to northeast here kind of fashion here. So that's something that will be interesting to note there. But again, some similar amounts. 4 to 6 inches of snow is looking to be the best bet for some of those regions there as well. And kind of go back to the Rockies here. You can see here with snowfall amounts all over the place. There's a lot of spots that is a really 6 to a foot of snow. And some of those regions approaching a, a foot, 2 feet of snow across some of these regions there, especially across, some of the mountain ranges across southwestern Colorado, even across portions of Montana. So a lot of snow is coming. And lastly, take a look at the GFS model, which actually does not go for the entire time here. There we go. You can see here pretty much the same thing. Really, generally, most walls do agree. But look across southwestern Colorado. It's showing 2 feet of, actually a little bit closer to 4 feet of snow across those regions there. And that's a crazy amount of snow. And look into the secondary system they'll be developing. It's actually showing some higher amounts across southwestern Iowa. There was snowfall amounts possibly up to 7 inches in a few areas, but we'll see about that. In looking onto the same run here, there could be the potential for some ice. The GFS is not real picking up that well with some ice. You can see it's kind of a little bit more isolated here. But you can see here, some areas could see really not a lot of ice. Some areas could see up to a quarter of an inch of ice. And I think that's going to be the probably general forecast here. Probably at max could see probably 2/10 of an inch of ice. as well, but nothing really too major at this point here for eyes. At this point here, a little bit earlier was some earlier model runs, showing some higher amounts. Good news is it's been going on a downtrend ever since. But yeah, guys, this is all for you guys today. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys like this video, hit the like button. If you really do like my channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notifications so you never miss an upload. If you guys have questions about this, you can put in the comment section down below. I'll answer you guys' questions. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.